Hi, dear friends. I would like to talk a bit more about loving yourself and healing yourself. And today we're going to do that with two exercises, two guided meditations, and some songs I love to sing. And in the tradition of Thich Nhat Hanh, where I practiced quite some years, is beautiful tradition to sing. It's a Zen tradition, and it's very in my experience. It's a very light-hearted tradition where you practice a lot by doing, and one of the things how we practice is by singing. And if it's a very direct form of communication, I think, and some poems can be sung quite beautifully. Thich Nhat Hanh also used to write poems, and some very moving poems, where one is Call Me By Your True Names. And I am myself, I find poetry sometimes much more direct form of communication than whole talk, because in a few words can be communicated so much. So I hope you're well and sitting in a place where you can relax. And I would like to start by asking you to feel where you're sitting, to be aware of the ground you sit on, the chair, and then I would like to invite the bell so you can come home to yourself, into this present moment. If you want, you can close your eyes. And there's a little sentence I always like to say to myself before I invite the bell, which is listen, listen. This sound brings me back to my true home. Maybe you can experience a sense of relaxation going through your body when you hear the sound of the bell. And it's so in Buddhist tradition, you often call it the voice of the Buddha, uh, which reminds us to come back to the here and now. So I invite the bell again, and I want you to feel the sound wash through you and to help you relax all your tension, letting go of all the worries, and be truly present with your body and your breathing in this moment. Oh, loving yourself. It's a theme that entails a lot of different things. And I think mostly it's being there for yourself, being able to listen to what is in this moment. For me, in this moment, I felt the sound of the bell go through me and soften me a little bit. And I was a little bit more aware that the left side of my shoulder is a little bit painful. Also, the bell made me smile a bit more, made me relax my face a bit more, allow myself to become soft in this moment, connect with my inner source of love. I'm doing some course of exercises at the moment where I look in the mirror. So no better to say is every time I look in the mirror, I say loving things to myself. And I allow myself to get soft, to be there for myself, and to also be okay with the feelings that we label as unwelcome, anger, doubt, fear, or just not being present with yourself, being clumsy, to just recognize. And it's an ongoing exercise for me to, instead of scolding myself for having spoken out of term or being too loud or any kind of insecurity, it doesn't even matter so much, to just recognize, oh, because I think we all have, most of us have this inner voice where things that we probably learned in our childhood, we internalize. And then we start to repeat those things to ourselves, like, oh, see, I've done this stupid thing again. Or, oh, see, I'm not quick enough. I'm not reprimanding yourself or repeating situations where you feel embarrassed, or repeating those over again. And it's often has to do with not being able to see the pain that's underneath. And to sometimes, for me at least, it helps to just recognize, because then another another error, or another, how to say, a valkuil, another pit to fall into, can be to reproach yourself for reproaching yourself. So just to recognize, okay, there is this harsh voice again telling me that I'm not this enough or that enough, and that's to be, okay, it's okay. We're all in this learning journey, and to put an inner hand on my heart, be there for myself, smile to myself, take things lightly. I think that's also, for me, it's always good to be able to laugh about things, to not take myself too seriously, and the world in general, because we tend to overthink things as humans, and the trick I think, is to every time connect with my heart, connect with our hearts, to connect with our inner light that we all have. We all have. I read the other day that in a book of Eckhart Tolle's, he also makes this analogy of flowers that are the enlightened form of plants, and that they give us a glimpse of our inner flowers, I would call it, our inner light. And Thich Nhat Hanh always, many times, used to say also that we are flowers. And I think in children, this is often very much easier still to see because they don't tend to overthink things so much yet. And this freshness, this tender presence that we all have in ourselves. And I think this is when you find the path to loving yourself and you find your way back home, where you've always been, and you always can find this place, no matter what your situation or where you are, to find this, make this connection with your inner flower, your inner light, this love. And I think that's the way to heal ourselves and to truly find this love for yourself, and be okay with whatever so-called stupidity you've done. Or I had the other day, I had a beautiful learning experience. I went to a reunion, and I saw, so it was quite a big crowd, but I saw some people that I hadn't seen for quite a few years, and I've changed physically a lot, apart from getting older. Also, through having been very ill, I gained quite some weight, but on the other hand, I've become much more active. I used to be in a kind of electric wheelchair. So, and I thought they recognized me, but there was no connection, and I was too busy with the program, so I couldn't really go and talk to them. And I noticed that this caused all these feelings and thoughts in myself. And so then when I went home afterwards, I noticed, oh, apparently I've had quite some expectation. There was one realization that apparently I had quite some expectations about them, about us communicating. And then the other was that once I could go through that, I felt there was disappointment. There was, and I think that's also sometimes the Buddha talked about this, is then I started shooting arrows. Is that I thought they would have maybe thought, were thinking certain things about me or judging. And I think that's when we sabotage ourselves often. That we make up whole scenarios of thinking up about hypothetical things that are not even, maybe not real. I mean, you probably recognize this. You see somebody looking at you, and then you make up a whole story around only that look or some other small interaction. And then often, maybe later you discover that 95% of all this was just in your head, and that the other person had a completely different story, or we repeat a situation, a painful situation, over and over again in our mind, And that's what then in Buddhism they call the second arrow. So you have a wound, something hurt you, but you keep repeating that by that's how they call it, shooting yourself into that wound. And we do that in that sense. We unnecessarily dwell on pain and make it bigger than it needs to be. So in the moment when in that situation, when I recognize, okay, so apparently there was disappointment, and I also thought there was this, I allow myself to be angry, to like shake it off, to I was kind of like, I needed to do that in order to let go of my expectations and just say, okay, this is. In that moment, it felt good, and then I could connect again to that love and the good times I felt when I interacted more with those people. And but the whole thing that why I'm telling you is because this process of was very interesting to me when you you see how you react to certain situations, and that most of it is actually an internal process and often has very little to do with the other person. So in the end, I never knew how they felt or what they thought, and it doesn't matter because it's about me being able to be soft, to connect with a love for myself, to see what a certain situation does with me, and to be okay with all the processes that happen, and just to be loving observer, and to have this feeling of trust underneath that it's okay. It's okay to be who I am. It's okay, because that's another big thing about loving yourself and healing yourself, is to accept yourself exactly as you are. To yeah, we are in a stage of growing, and that keeps on. You've learned something, and then something new happens in your life, and you keep on learning. And with that, I would like to do the first meditation. So I want to ask you to sit or lie down or sit comfortably so you can relax. And we will make a little inner journey into our life. I'll invite the bell again. And maybe you want to close your eyes for this if you feel comfortable enough. And I will first sing a little bit so you can take your time to relax. And then I will start a little guided meditation into your own life. So take a few breaths, connect with your breath, and invite the sound again that brings us back to our true home. Home is where the heart is. Home is where the heart is. Home is where the heart is. My heart is with you. Home is where the heart is. Home is where the heart is. Home is where the heart is. My heart is with you. Been traveling days, been traveling nights, been traveling a lifetime to find my way home. Been traveling days, been traveling nights, been traveling a lifetime to find myself home. Home is where the heart is. Home is where the heart is. Home is where the heart is. And my heart is with you, with you. So I want to ask you to feel the light, the love for yourself, to make a connection with your heart and with this shining light that is deep in your heart, and let it grow from your heart into your lungs, into your whole chest, in your arms, in your neck, in your head, until this light of love fills your whole body and warms you up and fills every cell and every little bit of your body, and you feel carried and loved by this light. And then maybe you also want to let this light and this love stream out into the room where you are and fill the whole room. And you feel yourself carried by this love through the whole universe, this streaming love through you. And maybe you feel the love going even further through your whole house and the neighbors. And the more love streams out of you, the more it streams back to you. And this home, which is full of love, with this feeling, I want you to imagine yourself and look at yourself with the eyes of love. And then we will travel back in time, all the way back to the moment that you were born, a little fresh, pure baby, just taking your first little breath. Try to see yourself or feel yourself in that moment, how you were looking with amazement in this new world, full of love, full of wonder, taking your first deep breath with air, maybe shout and cry to fill up your whole lungs with oxygen. And look at this baby with your love, with all the love, and say hi to this little one and tell her or him how much you love it. And then I want you to go a little bit further to the moment that you were able to walk. Take your first little steps, the first time you could stand on your two little legs, and how much joy you felt about being able to take your first steps. Oh, such a wonderful feeling. And feel how this little child, how much he is fresh in the world, or he is fresh in the world. And tell it how much you love it, how wonderful it is. And then I want you to go on to when you went to school and how exciting you felt to go to school. And maybe you felt a little bit scared to go to school. And see how much new children you saw and how you felt, and just be there for that little child that's going to first time to school, and tell it how much you love it and how much you admire it for being already so far to go to school. And then I would like to ask you to go a little bit further, a few years when you were able to read, and maybe it's a situation that was not so pleasant, and be there for that little child that's starting to find the world a little bit more difficult, starting to discover the world a little bit more intellectually, thinking about things, and tell it how much you love it and how wonderful it is. It's so beautiful that it's in the world. And then go a little bit further to when you were a teenager. And that teenager, how did it feel? The changing body, the insecurity, your curiosity, changing ways to deal with other people, and be there with your teenager in you and tell it how much you admire it just for being exactly the way it is. And it's okay to be, to grow up. And then we travel a little bit further in time to the first time you went studying or you had work and you started to feel like a grown-up and you started to find a way in your world. And then again, I want you to ask you to connect with that young adult and tell it how much you admire it, how proud you are of what it's doing, no matter what it is doing, that there is so much love for you, so much love, and that it's okay, and that you are there for you young adults. And we go a little bit further to maybe your first heartache when you fell in love. And how did that feel? All the insecurities and all the joy of love. And see how much your younger self is doing her or his best to give love and to receive love. And be with that person you are then, and give it all the love that you have and acceptance, and let it know that it's good, that it's accepted just the way it is, beautiful just the way it is. And then I would like, we are going to go back to now, yourself now, and then with all our love, we look on all these beings that all stages of our lives, and we look with love to all the things we did, the many different things that we lived through, all our experiences, so much experiences, and we embrace it with love. And while I sing you this little song again, I want you to be with yourself in that love. Maybe you still want to say some loving words to a certain stage in your life, or if you felt very moved and if there are tears, then that's okay too. Just feel that you are washed through with this feeling of love and of acceptance. Been traveling days, been traveling nights, been traveling a lifetime to find my way home. Been traveling days, been traveling nights, been traveling a lifetime to find myself home. Home is where the heart is. Home is where the heart is. Home is where the heart is. My heart is with you. With you. So, then I would like you to come back to this room, to take a moment to thank yourself for doing this exercise, for being there for yourself, and to let yourself know that you can always come back to that little child within you or the teenager and be there for that little one. He or she is always present in you, and all the healing that the child or the teenager needs, you can still give it. And I will invite the sound of the bell again, so we can come back to this present moment. I'm curious how this was for you. The first time I did this kind of exercise, I was very moved. I do this. I've learned to do this regularly in the sense that, and sometimes just in an ordinary situation, I make a connection with this inner Michelle, this little Michelle, and then I check in and how does she feel? Because sometimes we as adults, we might be very active and grown up and tough, but sometimes our inner child can, feel nervous or apprehensive, and it can be really helpful to connect and to just for a few moments to let your inner child know, okay, it's okay, I can feel that you are that you're a bit scared in that situation. It's okay. And for me, when I do this, it helps me to be soft, to also to be active and doing things, but at the same time also to allow a certain softness be there, and it helps to love myself with all of me, which is not a one-dimensional thing. It's often we are many different things at the same time. There's several feelings towards a situation. So, yeah, sometimes loving yourself can be a simple act of just connecting with your breath and taking refuge in this inner love that you have. And for that, you don't always need to go somewhere or do something special or take time off. Sometimes you can just do that by doing your dishes and just truly connect with, okay, I'm standing here, my hands are in the warm water, I am truly present, and then I might wash my dishes as if I was touching something very precious. And then at the same time, when I can do that, I can also touch the preciousness in myself. And by letting our lights shine through, we automatically shine them more into the world around us as well. And to allow myself to just breathe and relax and not having to do things, but just doing them and enjoying doing them, which already for me makes a big difference. I might not do less than I did before, but by doing them with the sense of my whole self instead of having to do things and the pressure of, and that can already make a big shift. Maybe you'd like to try that and see how that little inner shift can make a big change in how you experience your life. So I think the next exercise we're all actually going to do in the next video, because I see that it's going quite long. So I like to close this with another song I love very much, and which also very much go through this theme. And I have to find the lyrics. Breathing in, I go back to the island within myself. There are beautiful trees within the island. There are clear streams of water. There is air, sunshine and fresh air. Breathing out, I feel safe. I enjoy going back to my island. So this song talks about taking refuge in ourselves, and I will come back to that in the next video, but I would like to already give you the thought of maybe you want to try this for yourself. Like, or if you like to draw, you don't have to be an artist. Just take maybe some colors, maybe only a pencil and paper, and go back to yourself make a connection with this loving feeling of your inner love in your heart, and then draw an island or a place for yourself where you feel free, where you feel supported, where you feel loved. And it doesn't have to be a real place, it doesn't have to be recognizable for other people. It's about making connection with what this song talks about, an island for yourself. And for me, I have several images which I'm not going to tell you now because I want you to use your own imagination. And yeah, as I said, it does not have to be a real place. And it can be as colorful or black and white. There's no rules. There's only the idea of drawing or painting something that's makes you feel safe and makes you feel like a refuge, a place where you can truly feel free and supported and loved, and make this drawing for yourself. And if you want, I would be curious to also hear your experiences you had with the drawing. And in the next video, we'll do a guided meditation with around your own island, your safe haven. So for now, I'm going to invite the bell again, and then we take a deep breath, feel where you're sitting again and how you feel, and when we listen again to this bell that brings us home, to the light and love we all have inside. I wish you love, I wish you light, and I wish you happiness and joy.